Okay, so we're recording this. It is Monday, April 12th, and we are working on 5.03.7b, Step 2 to writing the text analysis response, writing the introduction. We're recording this because we are having some issues with Google Drive opening up documents right now that won't open. So until that's resolved, I'm going to go through the assignment and put some notes on the master paper so that when you make a copy, you'll have today's notes. And then I will extend the due date accordingly. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. Raising the prices of gas. 5.037b. Okay, so when you're able to open your document, it'll look like this. All right, this is the main copy, and I will put notes in here for you so you'll have them when you're able to open it. One thing I want you to notice is that the title of this narrative is all of this right here. It's pretty long. Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave by Frederick Douglass. All right. Writing the introduction for a text analysis response. Today, tomorrow, we're going to work on writing an introduction for a text analysis response. And as a review, we need to go through these things and cover them again before we write our introduction. The introduction should have three parts to it. There's always a hook. That's how you get the reader's attention. The reader's attention. And there are different ways of there are different types of hooks that you can use. Then there is a transition, and then there's a central idea. All right, the transition, the information the reader needs to know. Okay. And then our central idea, including identifying one literary device. Where's my cheat? All right, once again, you'll have this on your copy when you're able to make a copy of it. Google Drive is down right now. Okay, we're going to keep the introduction to a text analysis short because this is not a full essay. It's a 2 to 3 paragraph response. Should be 4 to 6 sentences. Include the most basic information so that the reader has a basic background and understanding of the narrative. Remember that the reader of your paper has not read the narrative, so you need to provide the reader with some vital background information. Right? In this transition, you can include a summary. It's up to you. Okay, so when you get to this paper, there's a review of the hook. We studied 7 different types of hooks. I narrowed it down to 5 right now. And you're going to choose one way to begin your introduction, one of these bullets. Right? There are 5. You're going to choose just one. All right? There is the direct quote. All right? In Google, you can search for quotes about the inhumanity of slavery, etc. And then interpret the quote. And then interpret the quote. For those of you just joining us, Google Drive, Google Documents is having issues and we're not able to open this document. So I'm just going through it and putting notes for you so that when you can open it, you'll have the notes that I put in here. Quotes about the inhumanity of slavery, then interpret the quote. All right, that's one way that you can start an introduction. You can find a quote online, you can find a quote from the book about the inhumanity of slavery, and then interpret the quote. Another way to begin your introduction is by using an interesting fact. All right, using an interesting fact. Since 1619, millions of Africans were captured and brought to this continent and forced into slavery since 1619 until 1865 at the end of the Civil War. They were enslaved. Right? You can search the internet for facts about slavery if you want to. You can copy or paste one or two of them. You interpret the fact in your own words. Another way to start an introduction is an anecdote, a brief story. All right. So this one's a little tricky because you got to connect it. You could write a brief story about what it's like to be a slave that relates to Douglas's narrative. Like, imagine it's being a 12-year-old and you escape a slavery and you survive it. You're hungry, you're cold, all right, and you get to your freedom. You get a job. You learn to read and write, but somebody snitches that you're a runaway slave and you're arrested and sent back into slavery. This was all legal. Even if you escaped into a slave state or where there was no slavery in the North, you were still a fugitive of the law and you had to be arrested and you had to be sent back to your owner according to the Fugitive Slave Act. Little story. Definition, you can define something like inhumanity or slavery. Right, so you're going to choose one method here to begin your introduction when you're able to start it. And then you're going to write transition. The transition connects your hook to Douglas's narrative. Right? How does your hook connect to Douglas's narrative? You need to introduce the full title of the narrative in the transition. Set the title in italics. Explain the connection between the two. All right. And then your central idea. All right. Your central idea should be in 503.7a. This will be a perfect opportunity for you to finish up 5.037a if you are not done, and for me to meet with students whom I need to talk to since Google Drive is down. And then once you decide which hook you're going to use, you can start writing it in the graphic organizer here. You can write your transition here. You can write your central idea here, and then you can put it all together into one paragraph here. If you want to skip this part, if you still remember all the steps to do this, you may, and you just, because this is the part that I'm going to grade. Okay. Do we have any questions thus far? Let me check the chat. Mr. Mark can't join the meeting. Isn't. Okay, Miss. Okay, Mecca, I will email him. Okay, so for now, let's continue working on Thursday's assignment. Some of the 16 students turned it in, so you're caught up. If you're caught up, what you can do is start looking up maybe some interesting facts about slavery or something about Frederick Douglass or a quote to start your text analysis response. You could look for a quote on fortitude. A quote on fortitude would also be great to start your introduction. Okay, but for now, let's finish 5.03.7a, get it submitted. And I'm gonna move you into breakout rooms. I will let you know when Google Drive is open and when the Google form from Ms. Drouillard is ready. We got it. Okay.